Hello, Amanda Newworth. 22 to you two is all I can say. I'm not really into the commercialism of Christmas and New Year, but it is a new year on the calendar. But as far as the Julian calendar goes, I think we're still into December. Whatever. Look, I just wanted to ask you guys, how'd you go over this crazy freaking energy that happened over the last 2 weeks? It was insane. A lot of psychic attack. I had, that's basically all I was dealing with the last 2 weeks was, here's another little bit of crap that they've chucked on. And I think that it was global. I think they released some kind of hound. I don't know quite what, because I want to know exactly what it is, but I feel as though it might be the last. But I think it's jumped on a whole collective, on the collective consciousness. And I just want to say the one thing you need to do is clean your act up. Okay, you just sit out in the sunshine, you just do some breathing, you just say, whatever is not mine, I let it go. May I release whatever has been put on me. May it be gone, be gone, be gone, be gone. It's as simple as that. You don't have to do anything so complicated. It's as simple as your volition. It's as simple as your intention and your will. So I just wanted to really say that. It was just bloody horrible, absolutely dreadful. And of course we got the incredibly shit news that Kirsten W passed, and also Doug from the, Get Bags. And I think that, this is a benefit that we here in Australia and New Zealand are in fact in summertime. Yeah? In summertime. I think they're going to, they did some biological attacks again, those same bastards were still at it. Or it was witness program. I don't know, but anyway, it's just watch out for yourself. It was such a confusing energy. What did we have? We had cyclone on the coast, crazy weather, flooding inland. The institution, the corporation is insane. Absolutely insane. And really crazy. So may it be so, may it be whatever. Sorry, I was just a bit distracted. So that's crazy thing. What about this new one, huh? Now, I reckon we can actually start looking at the white hats now. You can actually see what they're doing, with this new name for the old program, Florona. Come on. I have not heard any of our institutionalised corporations mention it. Not once have I heard them mention it, because it's foolish. The gig's up if they do. The gig is absolutely up and over. They're done, right? And I don't know, but I think that they really have sent something out onto the collective consciousness over the last 2 weeks. And if you're feeling down, you've got to lift yourself up. Come on, this is, we've got to put our big adult pants on now. It's 2022. We've got to stand like we've never stood before. And it's about holding the energy. I think that this is the major thing, holding the energy away from fear and really embracing our sovereignty. We're so disenfranchised because we're from a foreign land, because we're whiteys, right? And I really learnt the lesson of being disenfranchised in this life when I was sent to boarding school. And, and it was the weirdest thing, the place that was my home, meant to be my home, felt like I was visiting, which I was. Basically, that's what disenfranchised is, and it's a really dreadful feeling because you lose your belonging. And belonging is a really, really major necessity, base need in human life is belonging, And so how do we get around all of that? Well, sovereignty. What got me into sovereignty a long time ago was the fiction. And, of course, the fiction is, like, say, the birth certificate. It's all the straw man stuff. It's that we're being run by a corporation. But it's called a fiction because it needs you to keep it going. It needs you to keep it alive. They cannot create it without you. So by getting into your own sovereignty, which means that there's no one else between you, because if you think of the fiction, we've got so many middlemen. We've got local government, state government, we've got taxmen, we've got every government department. They're all middlemen, illegal, fictional middlemen. Okay, and the only thing that exists is between you and Creator, whatever created you, wherever you came from. And the whole disenfranchised thing is very important to me because it helps me to understand the division as well. And with the story of Babel and Babylon and the strewing of the human race over the earth and them only speaking all different languages so we couldn't communicate and unite. Well, there's a key right there. We've got to unite. And that disenfranchised thing is, I'm from Celtic background, so therefore I'm disenfranchised from my tribe, yeah? And it was all intentional. It's all intentional and part of the fictitious, corporate, satanic mode of operation. And we're seeing it come to an end. That's what we've got to get, is to the end, to the total end. Because as I was talking with Dale that time about the fiction, about fiction writing, if you think about it, although you might be a sports lover, but that's to capture the male energy, even female energy now, to have that big roar so that you don't get upset and angry about the real things that are going on, It's like a siphoning of the anger, because if you were not distracted, you would actually be fighting for them in the responsibility of your own life, of how we're intended to be, with all these distractions. So the fiction is a massive distraction, it's consumerism, and it's, movies and celebrities and, all the makeup, everything that is not natural, everything that's not natural. So it's a massive, massive, massive distraction. And, you've got to stop and ask yourself sometimes, what's the freaking point? What is the freaking point of life? Well, if we can take some hints, if we can use discernment, if we can actually get to the connection between ourselves and the Creator, and be sovereign, and then go into our heart and approach everybody with love and compassion and understanding, then we will get unification between the tribes. We are on the sovereign nations of this great terror, and that's just how it is. I'm from a different tribe, and doesn't mean I can't love any other tribe. And it's just the time for us to start contemplating these types of things, and the point being unification. This is the year for uniting together. Not as one homogenised human. That's just not the point. That's transhumanism, to bring our individuated, wonderful souls to the table to get this whole thing cracking, the whole thing. So I don't know if you've heard, but down in Canberra there is a very important event going on. I've got my wheels turning to get down there. We'll see what happens there. I can't really guarantee I'll get there, but I'm really wanting to. If anyone would like to donate, I would be most appreciative, because heck, it all takes those bloody stupid dollars. And go ahead, I'll go down and I'll do lives and get it happening. Oh, wow. I just kind of go, look, I feel like the whole world was sort of turned upside down in strange ways, but we're turning back up the right way. That's what it seems to be, turning the right way instead of the bloody upside down shit. And, as you know, we've been warned that there could be some shortages, etc. So, just take care of you and your family at the moment. We're going to get there. Use your voice for good. And I love you. I better go and do a reading. And I'm going to do a reading on that shitty energy that was around, like just for us to get some energy out of it. And if you've been sort of slimed by it, all you need to do is really just sit down, do a few breaths, and just put your energy into it. into yourself and go, if I was slimed by whatever release that was, well, let it be. I will let that go now. I don't want it anymore. It's gone. It's not mine anymore. It's not mine anymore. And just do whatever it is that comes to you to let it go. But just acknowledging it can really let it go. It's as simple as that. It's pretty good. Pretty good. I'm so distracted because I just love being at the beach. I'm probably getting burnt now, so I better go up and do a reading. Okay, loves? And so nice, so nice to be back. Sorry, I had to take another week off. I just couldn't do it. I just need another week. Sorry, no apologies, really. But lots of love to you all. Love you all. Talk to you soon. Hello. So you can be part of this noisy environment that I'm in. It's still a bit of a clean-up. We had a few trees come down with all the wildness last week. And I've really got to get this done. I've been waiting for a while. Hopefully it'll finish doing it. So I'm going to do a reading on all of that insanely crazy energy that was around, and I'll just take you through something a little bit deeper to clear it off, because the collective consciousness has been affected. And I hope that you can enjoy my loop, which shall react to every movement. I love the way it flows. And this is what we've got to have in life. We've got to flow from one thing to the next. It's the way it goes. So this is for everyone. This is just everyone. It's just about the wild energy. So it reacts to my voice. It's amazing. Okay. Let's go. Yep. Yep. Revolution of the mind. So totally at battle in the revolution. All right, now it had something to do with obviously a rebalance of something. So it was about getting everybody to reach, maybe to make them feel a little bit uncomfortable in a totally different way. Now, just at this point, there was something I wanted to talk about, and it was, why is it that we can't really see what's going on? It's like, it's not confusion. Please, it's not confusion. Although the energy has been around about confusion. But what happens when we get to certain crux points in time, or experience would be my better preferred word, is that we cannot foresee anything, okay? And not foreseeing means that the collective consciousness is going through an adjustment. And it looks like a revolutionary raising up to really stand in the state of affairs, like the enthusiasm of love and things like this, the enthusiasm of love. Just pretty amazing. And also we've got a lot of feminine energy there, really. So the hidden deep things, that are hard to understand. It's the revolution card. In the mental world, it's a battle, but we have to revolt against that. We can't keep going. We have to go into that inner exploration, be brave and plunge into the deepest depths of our souls, etc. And these types of things. So then we can rise, and be part of the universe, because there's much bigger things going on. Like, we're in a probationary period between whether we're allowed to be in the Galactic Federation of Worlds, or whether we're allowed to be part of the greater part beyond Earth. So there's massive things going on. So this is telling me, yes, it was definitely something rising, like a revival of things, like to get you to push through and maybe look at things a little bit differently. So I hope that helps, because I think that the perfect way to actually describe the energy that was around for the last couple of weeks was aggressive, fragmented, and really destructive, that it actually took some people out. So I just really think that that's the most incredible card to be put down for it. And of course the universe, it's all the wheels within wheels of the universe, all the things that actually all the different tribes. You know, we've got sovereign issue here in Australia, but we've also got sovereignty through the galaxy as well. So we're there's how's that? You know, pretty pretty bizarre, I reckon. It's actually, that's amazing for me because I didn't think that we would get here in my lifetime. So I'm pretty happy about that. Oh, I'm so excited. That noise has sort of stopped for a moment. And so it's all about taking that enthusiasm of the love, the power of love and passion, and that wonderful stuff that we have inside of us that we tend to share with somebody when we fall in love. And it's about that real bravery. And again, it's intuitive. So it's about this intuitive part of ourselves being developed through it at the moment. And so there's a great big awareness and intelligence that's really active and really longing. So we've got to tap into that knowledge in the storm, because when a storm comes, we really have to go on all of our senses, okay, and really utilize them. You know, like the television ain't going to tell us what's happening in our local moment, in our immediate area. Yeah. So it's about this getting that sort of strategy, you know, thinking that's cautionary, but in the sense that you're putting all the different things together. It's got a mental strength behind it. It's that true nature that changes things, okay? The true nature that changes things, and it's a quest, an absolute quest. And all the hidden energy that actually creates new things, you know, that has been totally mistaken as lust and utilized and hijacked as lust, as a power. Well, that whole thing is coming to a completion, okay? Because everything that has been coming out of late is actually making everybody really understand that that whole lust area of the world is a misconstrued fiction, I would put it, a fiction. That we're actually learning how to actually bring that energy back into a creative force, which was for what it was for. And we've got some unexpected events coming along as well. So I suppose we could even put it that this is order out of chaos, because the chaos is going on. It's just totally going on. It's totally there. It's totally happening, you know. And this is a card of order. So things have to sort of almost click into place. And it's the energy of unification, unifying and perfecting things. So the opposite things that happen for it to come into the perfect power moment, like the perfect completion moment, because you don't have any momentum without opposites. So this is a massive thing in itself. So of course then, you know, it's all about that completing the inner perfection and things like that as well. So we're having some lessons. Oh, sorry, Duke. We'll be right. You'll get going again. So of course we're going to all the temptation, the deception, sacrificing, renouncing, you know, but not our instincts. Okay, we cannot give up our instincts. We must go in, and this is another card, see, another quest card about our intuitive understanding, about transcending all the crap. So again, it's giving us that whole thing of, if we are seeing that we want everything to go back to normal, impossible. It cannot. So we've got to start really understanding through our intuition how things are going to come down to a more simplified system, the one that we were meant to be under the whole time, for us to be in the mystery school, okay, and to grow and to become aware. I mean, it's just the simple facts, you know. But we have to save ourselves by actually giving up all of those worldly things. And I'm quite an artist at that one. The worldly things. Yeah. And it's all about, again, that sort of helpful, cautious, you know, it's not like that real air kind of energy where you jump in and you just keep talking. It's that balance between that intellectual understanding, you know, and sympathetic kind of attitude. So this is underneath what was going on. Okay, how to deal with it. My cards always show how to deal with it. Point out a bit of the solution, but it's never what we expect. So when we go to the 7 over here, that's a good card there. So things are moving along. So we all know what futility means, which is you just sort of lose your power, etc. But it's usually because there's been massive sort of deception, yeah, and dishonesty. And we know this. We really know this now, and it's like understanding the cunning, and that we're quite innocent, and there's also a really stupid trust that happens. So by discovering yourself and doing your inner work, then it becomes where you understand the true nature of things and of others. Okay. So, and it's like this is where the whole judgment deception issue is. Deception, judgment and discernment is so important, because, if we get that feeling or emotion, we need to do the work. That's asking us to do the work, okay, on ourselves. So you've got to discern what it is that you're feeling or experiencing, and then in turn dividing it up and arranging it, and then understanding it, getting it in a sequence, and then becoming it for it to be coherent. So then also this is about when things are futile, there's no plan, so we've got to get some systematic sequencing going on. Has to be wisdom, has to be wisdom. And it just has to sort of end up being, it's basically asking you to do it quick. Do it very quick. Quick. Very quick. Because there's maybe the whole thing that went on actually over the last couple of weeks actually has given everybody a bit of extra mental activity, and a little bit more communication, really fast communication, of course, with self. And perhaps it's made a bit of a change. Something's motivated in you, perhaps. I'm not sure. But it's all about solving the problems. It's not about pointing them out anymore. We've got to solve these situations. We can point out for as long as we like. I was given this lesson probably 40 years ago. I could sit there and I could rattle off all sorts of things, but everyone used to say, what's the solution? What's the solution? And that is the powerful part. You've got to get to solving problems, not domineering, not dominating, but just solving it in the stuff inside yourself. So then in turn, you'll discern what actions you need to actually do. So that's what it's asking you to do there. On your dupe. Okay. So coming up, just the energy around. We might as well put these out so I don't disturb Doopy. All right. So there's a super duper restless energy, okay, really, and I can understand, because we've all been waiting. Some of us all our lives basically for things to change, but we're part of the change, as it's saying. We're part of the change. So they're going to give us a little bit of insight here. So it's a really hyperactive, and you want to get really, really involved in everything, restless, but there's overreaching thinking, over exaggerated thinking, and you need to kind of really get, as it was saying before, that sequencing together. Like, I love the idea of space and time, okay, but you've got to get the insight into the total correlation of things. So that's where we're going. We're going into the total correlation, which is just exciting. Okay, and I was talking about all the languages earlier. Well, I mean, this is all about us learning almost like new languages, because if you've ever studied, all you're doing with whatever study it is it's a new language. Maybe in English, but it's still a new language. Like if you do IT, it's a different language. If you do hypnosis, like with hypnotherapy, like me, it's a new language. And it opens up. If you do naturopathy, if you do whatever, even all of these types of things, it's a new language. So that new language has a lot of benefit, doesn't it?
So that we're at one of these points where we're actually learning so much. We're at a very beneficial. Wow, I'm getting like a abyss actually, about ready to jump. I don't know if people can relate to that. I can. It's that time when you feel like everything is gone, that there is no way out, and well, all the lemmings are going off the edge, but you wait and you learn how, and you get do all the tasks to learn how to actually fly across that abyss. And it feels like that's where we're at. We're still working on how to get it together in ourselves, all the confusion and the disturbances and everything, and the distractions. Man, haven't they been big and fast over the last couple of weeks? It's just that chaos and all that mental obstacle stuff, chaotic stuff. So with all of that, it's asking you to get involved. Okay, really asking you to get involved in your situation, and it doesn't matter big or little, but you have to ask your inner being, because things are changing. Things are not going back anywhere near it. We're going for grand things. I mean, I heard that we're going to be getting the med beds soon, etc. Let's see. I felt like they've been beaming down med bed energy to us anyway, because we're in a quantum field. So interesting energy. And when we come over here to the sun, it's about looking at the light. What's the light? Well, it's where the darkness isn't. It's where the love is. And it's about reconciling all of those dark parts of ourselves. It is that deepest part of ourselves, which is in fact the highest part of ourselves, funnily enough. But that's where all the muck goes. So it's pretty exciting times, with the light coming in and accepting it and filling it up with life as much as you can. And it was just quite a heavy energy, wasn't it? It was very difficult. So instead of being that self-satisfying, we've got to get more into service to others. And that's quite easy for some, it's really, really easy. So service to others is probably really, really good, but we're not to worship anybody, okay? Not worshipping is a whole false idol, right thing. So we have to come into ourselves and find ourselves, love ourselves, and in turn we can shine the light in there, and then we can actually enlighten, because that's what it is, light, enlighten. All of those parts of our consciousness, get them all in order, get the clarity, and we can overcome everything. So, that's the tribe that I'm part of. We're not perfect, etc., etc. But it's about understanding all those little discomforts that you have, and all of those really vague fears that you can have, and understanding where they are because you put the light on them. And in turn, through all of it and everything that we are being asked, put through this interference, is to create a change. The change being a transfer of energy. Flexible, because there's positive sides to everything. It's just hard and dark on the way through. Okay, so again, it's that power of opposites that was in this card here, the power of opposites. And how can I put this? It's the simplest one we've got is like life and death, dark and light, gods and demons and things like that, and the rebirth. And that's where we're heading, because it's just been like we're in a tumble dryer or in the ocean being dumped and dumped and dumped. And so now it's the polarity level time, where the opposites can be sometimes known and found as illusions, which can be that fiction that I was talking about earlier, the fiction. And you can have a pretty unstable situation. Okay, but it's unstable while the change is occurring. But of course, we've got some really new, wonderful things that are coming up. Now, look at that. That's a beautiful card. Oh, you can't quite see it. Oh, sorry, guys. Okay, so I'll move those up. I'm too busy doing the cards to worry with. Sorry, loves. Not really, but okay. So we've got being receptive to harmony. So if we can be receptive to harmony, then we can be part of creating that harmony, which is a gorgeous thing. But we have to receive. And so for all women, one of the things I tell them is allow yourself to allow yourself to allow. And then you can say harmony. And it's a beautiful thing. Okay? And it's, it's that essence, that thing that is in love, that love feeling, that kind of, you're at one with something. And we mistake it as another person when it's actually our souls and where we're from, our sovereignty. And so it's about, okay, we're really used to being attached, but it's also got that energy of the secret of life, okay? And it's about giving, and it's also about ambiguous, and it is about being receptive and our dedication to the cause, basically. But it's about getting that harmony energy, really holding on to the harmony, because it's a new feeling, and allowing yourself. So when you've gone through everything, then the change comes, and then it will allow you to experience something a little bit different. Instead of all of the spider web of the traps that have been set up through our lives. Sounds pretty good. So we've got a lot of change going on. Change, completions, and lots of things. So one of the things that we really have to understand is that we have to stand in the face of humiliation. Okay? We have to be able to stand strong in the field of evil. We have to passively, quietly suffer in that negative experience. We have to know our limits, our boundaries, because that evil is about to die, so it's wiggling really, really hard. But it's also, again, the lesson of the correlations, okay, and the intentions of others, the intentions, and having your own intention to transmute, transfer, change the way things are going. So, I mean, right in the middle of this card, as you can see, it is the symbol of bad spirits, which is what we were just going through badly, especially for the last 2 years, but it's always been woven in our lives. It's just that there's no hidey holes for them anymore. So it was like release the hounds, and it's dangerous, difficult stuff, and it's really time to have that kind of fierce debate and get away from all the destructive thinking. I mean, that's what we've got. We don't want that anymore. We don't want that destructive world. We don't need it. And convoluted explanations, all this bloody bullshit of the fiction that they've given. We just don't want it, okay? So we have to stand really strong in that. Okay, because what is it that we are fearful of the most? Abandonment and helplessness, and that basic fear and loss and all of these types of things, right? So it's about really understanding that we're up against it. We're up against it. But standing in the face of that and knowing that you are just connected directly changes everything. It just changes everything. Doesn't mean you don't get a little quiver in your knees. It doesn't at all. But it's about taking life really seriously, okay? Really serious. Serious as you can get. Because deep down in there, we have all the wisdom, all the light, and all of the emotional maturity. So what's emotional maturity? It's like emotional intelligence. It's this inner work. Like there's just different ways of saying the same thing. Inner work is emotional intelligence and emotional maturity, because you're being responsible for everything you're feeling, knowing when to speak up, when knowing when not as well. So it's also about us going through a time where we're trying to escape all of the burdens and everything, but it's just fighting the truth, because the truth is the light within. Truth is the light within. Just different languages say it differently. And it's really ultimate about finding who you are, finding self, and to not be distracted by all of the trimmings and all the offerings out there, you know. So it's a beautiful thing. Otherwise, we end up with narcissism and things like that by going down that service to self and then service to others. They're totally different things. Service to self is narcissistic, and I've known a few people who've been like that, and they're bitter. And they just don't like stuff. So I'm just going to take you through a really simple exercise just to help you rejig after this weird couple of months. Super duper weird couple of months. It's all happening. So I sort of mentioned earlier, just take a nice deep breath. Okay, now bring down that light. Bring down the light from the universe. Just expect it to be there. It is unencumbered. It is pure because you are pure from Source. Source is sending it to you for healing because you're asking for healing, and your intent is, I really want to just rid myself on the horrible energy that's been around for a couple of weeks, a couple of years, a couple of centuries, but let's do a cleanup. So we're going to create a vortex. It's like a spinning energy, yeah? And it's gentle. It's like a gentle breeze, but it's turning around your body. And we're going to ask that I can breathe in peace and harmony, because the whole cards are all about harmony, about going in and really doing some work. So at the end of this, it'd be perfect if you would just continue doing this. Just continue doing this. And I love you so much. Before we get going, I love you so much. And the love is coming down from universe and creator, down over you in that vortex that's moving around you. And on your in-breath, you're asking for peace and harmony. And on the out-breath, you're letting go of anything that is not yours, that is not part of your being, on every level of your existence. And breathe in harmony and peace and the clarity and the peace of mind to see within. And on the out-breath, you're letting go of all of the things that just don't belong to you. Check your toes, check every part of your body, and just keep that going and breathe out. Okay, and you just keep that all going for as long as you can. And then at the end, you ask this energy that's around you, gather it all up and take it out into the universe, and ask your guardian angel to please transform this energy into healthy, vibrant energy. And just keep that going, keep it going, keep it going. You can use this tool for the rest of your life. And so lots of love to you, and see what happens this week. I'm just love you and talk to you and keep that going. Just keep that going. Bring that energy down, breathe it in, harmony, peace. Let that vortex actually accept that energy that you're releasing. And keep it going until your body's energy is clear in the field around you. Ask it to be taken up out into the universe. Ask the angels to please transform it into something really healthy. And I love you all. Talk to you soon.